Hello friends, it's Lisa and I'm back with a new video today. So I bought the Crafter's Companion subscription box. You can only get it in the US via HSN. If you're outside of the US, then you go to the Crafter's Companion UK website, I believe. So the first box came in May at the very end, but it's for June. And I decided the first thing I made was this little mini album, I guess you could say. I got the Cinch machine in May as well from HSN, and I have been loving bookmaking. It's my new thing. I love it. I'm making my own coloring books, but this is the first mini album I've made. I've tried to make one before I had the Cinch and it did not work out. I did love using this kit to make this mini album. It was a lot of fun. I'm showing you here with two pictures. I have the, what is it called? The Instax Square SP3 Fujifilm printer. So I printed out two pictures and used them as templates, and that's what I'm showing you here. I don't actually have any pictures in yet, but my plan is at the end of June, well, I guess the beginning of July, to take my favorite pictures and add them into this mini album. So I was excited to use the kit in this way that isn't cards. The kit does say that there is enough stuff in the kit to make 24 cards in various sizes. What that really means is it comes with 24 card bases, 24 envelopes, which is awesome. And if you don't use those for this card, for stuff in the card kit, you can always use those other ways. Oh, I did put this back page upside down, and that was totally my fault. So those should line up, and that back page should be rotated 180 degrees. But it still looks good. It's just a little mistake. So I didn't film making this whole thing. I don't think that I'm quite ready to show everybody, how to do this, but I did film creating 3 cards. I show here 4 cards, but I'd been crafting all day, and by the end of 3 cards, I was done. I was like, I'm done. So, just so you know, don't feel like I am cheating you, I hope, but that's what happened. Really, so I was going into what the card kit has. It also comes with 24 of these 8x8 pattern papers, 24 of the just colored cardstock, and I think 24 or it may be 12 of those little squares with the punch outs, and then these 2 dies. Supposedly each month the card kit focuses on a different thing. The July card kit is on their sparkle markers, which are a big thing for them as well. These side dies, cut out, I forget what, edgeable dies, are also one of their big things. So that's why it's their first month. And so they have this happy birthday, and the lacy die. So I now have 2 happy birthday cards. I never send out happy birthday cards. I should send them out, but I don't. And I try and be honest with myself. I'm also putting that in upside down. Don't do that. Put it in the right way. Anyway, I'm using my Gemini machine for all the die cutting. And basically just use these dies as any other metal dies in whatever machine you're using. Simple, easy. They are pretty intricate, so if you have a manual die cutting machine, you may need a shim or two. But for this card is actually the gatefold card, and the die didn't go all the way down, so I just cut it on the top on both sides and cut the whole page down to fit those cards, or the die portion. Anyway, you'll see in a minute. I also found that poking all of these things out was kind of a pain, but you know, that's what you get for really intricate dies. It always takes a little bit longer to actually die cut them out. Next, you'll see on these edgeable dies, which is what this card kit was all about, that there's two little notches, and that's what you put on the fold line. So above the notch, it cuts it out like that, wishing you A, and then under the line, it cuts into the card, like the happy birthday. So, next, for all the cards, that's what I was doing with the die cutting. I'm showing you everything I did before I started each individual card, is I put everything through my Xyron machines. I have two. I have the big one and the little one. And I wanted to be able to craft and go. So I put the whole sheets of paper and all these little, I guess you'd call them ephemera pieces, through so that they have adhesive on the back. That way I can cut it up and then stick it together. Let's start first with the gatefold card. I thought it turned out pretty cute. So, like I said, I cut off the end, so it's just where the die went. Then I measured out the inside and cut a piece of the green paper to go with it. Now, I could not stick things down. I always overestimate my abilities to do this, and I always fail. So I just stuck it down. I figured that little bit wouldn't matter to anybody. Next, I like to press the adhesive really down into the paper so it sticks really well together. And then I'm gentling in that crease, because the crease was in the white paper but it wasn't in the green paper, so I'm adding it back in. Now, I decided to use some of the rub-ons. I'm not sure if I told you about those, but they included 4 sheets of rub-ons, 2 black, 2 white, as well as some paper flowers, some ribbon, and some little pearls. I didn't actually use any of the pearls on these cards, but I do use some of the ribbons and the flowers. So, I, of course, could not line that up either. Next, I cut out some of this green paper and stuck it down on the outside of the card, and I'm just cutting off the excess. I felt like having too much paper would be easier to deal with than having just the right amount. And I was right, because then it looks super fancy, like I can actually card make, as opposed to being a total fraud and not being able to line things up. Total pain. I also stuck the flaps down with some tape, because I could not line them up with them hanging out. Now I fussy cut around this little area on the pattern paper. This was a mistake. Don't do this. This is not my typical way that I craft or make cards, so it was a learning experience for me, which means you get a lot of don't do what I did. So these are just not the typical type of cards that I make. The ones that I see from the Crafters Companion company and that a lot of other people have made, because there's a Facebook group that makes these cards, and they make amazing things, and I'm like super jealous because this is just not what I typically make. So I'm not as efficient, I guess would be a good way to say that, or just not as good at making these types of cards. But I did put some ribbon on, and the easiest way to do that was just to add some of this double-sided adhesive and then put the ribbon over. And then tie it up. I used the We Are Memory Keepers ribbon cutter, hot ribbon cutter, to cut the ribbon on this. You can see here, I did not get it in frame. I'm sorry. I'll try better next time. But it made it really pretty and not frayy. Next, I did this side fold card. I don't know what the name for this is, but you saw me cut out the die earlier. Now I am putting the decorations on. I decided to do this corner of the pattern paper because it was really pretty, and I liked that. I like pretty. So I just simply kind of eyeballed it. Next, you need to have the below part visible so you can actually read the wishing you a happy birthday. You could die cut this and then line it up, but that seemed like it wasn't actually going to happen. So I cut a square out. I think taking the time to die cut it all together would have been nicer, or having a better idea than this would have been better. But this is what I did, and so this is how I did it. Next, I did take just part of the backing off. If you'll see just on that bigger triangle and not on the two smaller triangles, because I felt like that would be easier to line up. And I was right, so you don't have to take all the adhesive off. That's an easy thing to learn. Next, I took most of the other paper and put it on the inside-y part. It kind of was missing a little bit of that top left corner, which is out of frame right now, but you'll see it. So I just put a little bit of the other non-patterned cardstock there. Next, I decided to use the happy birthday, stuck it down with the flower under it so it would hold the thing up so it could actually stand. Last, we have this stepper card, and it was my least favorite. I just don't really like that style of card. It just is a little strange to me. So I don't know how many more of these cards I'll be making, but if you like this, then it's actually pretty easy to make. I also enjoy, for cards like this, when it's a die. To be honest with you, when there's like a worker die and some cutout dies that'll just cut out the matte layers, it makes it so much easier. This is such a pain. You can't get it right. I don't know. It was like a lot of thinking. And not like fun thinking, just thinking to make it look good enough. So, not my favorite. I make a mistake here and follow this exactly when I should have added not cut quite so deep, because the front has the die cut, the back doesn't, so I get some white left over. It's just interesting. The two other cards I made I really liked. I thought I did pretty well. I'm not a magician with this kind of stuff, but I did pretty well. This card, I don't know if I'll actually send it out, just because it just wasn't, my caliber of stuff. If I make anything else with the card kit, which I may do, is I'd make another mini album. I really liked that. These type of cards aren't my jam, and I don't love that when I send it out, it's not going to look like Lisa. It's not my typical style, so when somebody gets it, it'll be like, oh, she bought a card, which is nice because they look really nice, and I think people will think, oh, she bought a card for me. Wow, that's nice. But I kind of like, oh, wow, she made a card for me. So this is speeded up. If you can't tell, you haven't realized that yet. I sped it up because I crafted literally all day. I was just having myself a blast. But if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, let me know. Or if you want me to make another mini album, I thought that was really fun. For sure I will. I'm trying out to see if I actually like card kits or not. I can't decide. So that's my test was. Last week, or a few days ago, you should have seen a video about the Simon Says card kit. And if you haven't, just go to my channel and you can check it out. Otherwise, I have another video coming out in just a day or two, so go ahead and subscribe so you can catch it, where I go through, are card kits worth it? Is it worth the money to actually buy a card kit? Because that's really what the last two videos have been trying to have been my tests, and that video is my conclusion. Or is it? So this card is almost done, and so am I. So I will say thank you so much for watching. Oh, that's what that card looks like, the card I didn't actually end up making, but how it folds out. Sorry. So I'll step off, and I'm so glad you joined me. Please let me know in the comments below if you like card kits. Have you bought the Crafter's Companion subscription box? Have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks!